Toronto Football Club this week has become a complete and utter disaster. When you thought you were at rock bottom for how low a team could go, Toronto FC are just breaking new levels of pure disarray. And this is a magical level of disarray for this team to have reached. This is a level of disarray that you only ever get to see in professional sports when the higher-ups just completely check out and let the team run amok even when things are going really bad. Your two-star international players don't like each other. They both don't like the head coach. The head coach is having feuds with them. You have an injury list a mile long and you're underperforming in basically every single metric. What the heck is happening at Toronto FC? Following the 1-0 loss to Austin on Wednesday, Federico Bernardeschi in the post-match press conference had some things to say. Oh Lord, did he have some things to say. The Italian designated player popped off with one of the most inflammatory towards their own coach press conferences I have ever seen in my life in professional sports. He talked about how the team didn't have an idea of football, how they were playing without tactics, how they had no idea in the game. Basically, he just went on a several-minute long tear about how the players were, with what they were given, playing their hearts out and trying their hardest, and how on the tactical side of things, just absolutely nothing was getting done. This, of course, is his thoughts on head coach and sporting director Bob Bradley. Bob Bradley, in response, today on Friday, prior to Toronto FC's match tomorrow at home against DC United, kept Federico Bernardeschi out of the team's main training session and said that Bernardeschi will not be playing tomorrow against DC United. Now, officially, the reason that the club has given for Bernardeschi not playing tomorrow is that he had been repeatedly vaping on the team airline and in team facilities, despite being told that he wasn't allowed to do that. But I think we all know that this is directly related to the comments he made following Wednesday's match. So many things wrong with what just occurred. The team obviously has been terrible this season. Fans have been calling for Bob Bradley to be fired for several weeks now, en masse calling for Bob Bradley to be fired for several weeks now. The team has not scored a goal in Major League Soccer in 4 straight matches, save for a Insigne goal in the 2-1 loss in the Canadian Championship quarterfinal to CF Montreal 2 weeks ago. They wouldn't have scored a single goal in about a month. Attendance is dropping, fans are visibly upset. You can't even give tickets away to go see this team anymore, but a lot of people on Reddit are trying, and the whole aura around the club is that things have to change. And Bob Bradley's response to all this is before a home game to bench his star designated player. What? Sure, if you're the coach, Bernardeschi stepped out of line by basically publicly putting you on blast. But you're going now and basically saying that your own ego is more important than winning a game, because Toronto FC are not going to beat DC United. They weren't going to beat DC United even with Federico Bernardeschi. Without Federico Bernardeschi and with the injury list we already have, it's not like, oh, I'm sitting Federico Bernardeschi, but I still have like my full team, so it's just Bernardeschi that's out of line and like the rest of my starters are healthy. No, this is Toronto FC's injury list going into this match. Basically, 8 people out injured this game. And with Azorio and Insigne out injured, Bernardeschi is basically in charge of creating offense going forward for a team that hasn't scored in 4 matches. And now you're taking Bernardeschi out of that. Good luck if you want to see Toronto FC score going into this game. You're not going to see it. So now what? Josh Cloak of The Athletic also reported that Bernardeschi and Insigne don't like each other, but apparently they'll both team up to try and go behind Bob Bradley's back because they both don't like Bob Bradley. So that tells you something, is that if your 2 star players don't like each other, hey, at least they both have a mutual hatred of the coach. Something has to change with Toronto FC, obviously, but right now we're in a Game of Thrones-esque situation where MLSE has basically said that they're disappointed in the Insigne transfer, that TFC spent all this money and it hasn't paid out for anything. So they're basically cutting Toronto FC's funding, making it very difficult for Toronto FC to go and add any more players in this summer, and making it very difficult for Toronto FC to make moves in the upcoming summer transfer window. So for Bob Bradley, if he doesn't like the guys he's got because he's fighting with them, that makes it hard for him to go and get new guys that will actually like him in the summer transfer window. But also, MLSE doesn't seem very interested in letting Bob Bradley go. I mean, if you let go of Bob Bradley, it's likely you have issues with Michael Bradley, who's under contract with you for a couple more years, and also Michael Bradley is a club legend. And in general, it seems like they just don't care about the whole Bob Bradley thing. Like, I mean, like, nothing has come out rumor-wise to suggest that MLSE has even thought about getting rid of Bob Bradley as of yet. So you have an ownership group who has put a limit on the manager to get new players, and also doesn't really seem interested in wanting to get rid of the manager. So everyone's just kind of stuck with each other with people they don't like, and it's like the Michael Scott paper company episode of The Office, where like the paper company is going under and Michael's like, I don't need to live, I just need to outlast you. It's such a bizarre situation, and I cannot believe that we are stuck in this. And that's the worst part, is for the fans, is we're basically stuck with this. But we don't have to be. Already, you know, fans on the internet are very upset. People are messaging their season ticket reps. People are threatening to cancel their season tickets. People, you know, look at Ticketmaster. People are selling their tickets. They're getting rid of them for free. People are not going. Look at the stadium tomorrow. It's not going to be full. So what should the fans do? I mean, if you guys want to make a point to MLSE, just don't go to the game. Like, at all. Just cut it. Don't buy tickets. If you bought season tickets, email your season ticket reps and don't go, because empty seats do actually show something. But if you really want to scare them, go buy tickets to the York United game. They play on Sunday. They don't even have an owner. It's Canadian Premier League. It's fun soccer, as always. If you need soccer in your weekend, it's Canadian Premier League, League One Ontario, there's just other options. Sure, it's not the top end, but there's other options for soccer in Toronto over the weekend. You know what would get a point across to MLSE is if Toronto FC had their lowest attendance of the entire season on a beautiful May Saturday night, and the next day on a beautiful May Sunday evening, York United had their highest attendance by like 2,000 people of the season. Like, take 2,000 people out of BMO Field and put them at York Lions Stadium for York United, and that right there starts getting the alarm bells going, and also actually helps York United stay alive. But don't go to the TFC game just for the sake of going to the TFC game. I went to the game last Wednesday because I was able to get free tickets, and I hated it. It was a terrible experience. I'm just sitting there getting mad the whole time because the team just was playing discoherently, and then they drew 0-0 to the Red Bulls, and it just wasn't a good experience. It's too much effort. Unless you live in Liberty Village, it's too much effort to get down to BMO Field to go watch Toronto FC play right now. I'm sorry, it's just not worth it right now. The team sucks. But it's not only that they suck and that there's any hope, it's like they suck, but there's no positive takeaway. Like, you watch them play and you're like, there is nothing here. This team just has nothing. Even with the players they have, you're like, this team coherently together tactically right now has nothing. So that's my call. If you care about TFC, don't go to the game. TFC has players that can be very, very good. It's just under the current system, under whatever's currently happening, it's not clicking. Something has to change. And Bob Bradley's had 3 windows to bring in players he wants to bring in. So if Bob Bradley is now having arguments with the players he wanted to bring in, don't give Bob Bradley opportunity to go and get more players yet again. Like, that's the be all and end all of it, is these are Bob Bradley's guys. It's not like Bob Bradley is a coach given a team that a general manager that wasn't him assembled and his style of play doesn't fit the team. No, this was a Bob Bradley assembled team. Enough said. So, that is it for this video. As always, if you like, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.